take two in 3, 2, 1, go. Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us Under the Library, our homebrewed actual play Call of Cthulhu show. As a reminder, if you would like to play our Call of Cthulhu module set in our Season 1 universe with Season 1 characters and NPCs, head over to DriveThruRPG and look for the Snake's Oil. And if you like what we do here and would like to sponsor us, please do at patreon.com/underthelibrary. That makes a big difference in the amount of content that we are able to provide to you. We are back with a full house this week, and a lot happened last week. There is some drama about to happen. My name's Arthur. I'm playing Franny. I'm joined by Emily as Joe, Rick is Bello, Wayne's Rutherford, Scott's Cully, Chris is Boone, and, of course, our keeper is that guy over there, Michael. Michael, the show is all yours.
Hey, thanks for joining us Under the Library. We are set in the Call of Cthulhu universe, and we feature mature themes played by immature people. So if watching Friday the 13th with the George Carlin dub track is your idea of date night, you're in the right place. And with that, I'll turn it over to Emily for last week's recap.
Thank you, Michael. So last week, we began with Rutherford putting Richard to bed, having plied him with alcohol and Valium. And he asked him the very important question, who pushed you into the car? As he rolled a 97. So I'm going to skip the gory details and encourage you, if you haven't watched last week's episode, to do so.
Scott just wants a quick recap,
It's
biggest
really okay.
that
The
Giallo
quick
moment
recap.
where the eyeballs kind of popped out right before the head exploded. I think he wanted to hear that.
Here's your quick recap. Richard struggles to speak and his eyes bulge, as do the veins on his forehead. His eyes pop out and his head splits open. Rutherford is covered in blood and gore.
Things.
Viscera.
Bits.
And his eyes sting and burn. There's your short recap. Moving on. Bello,
Thank
Joe,
you,
and
Emily.
Franny run in to see the now headless Richard with skin flapping at his neck and a blood-covered Rutherford. Joe freaks out and crawls under the bed. Rutherford runs for the bathroom to rinse his burning eyes. Franny investigates. No sign of burns in the explosion of the head, but she does find, looking for some sort of a bomb or incendiary device, I guess. She does find weird veiny structures, threads in the brain matter that seem out of place. Rutherford then rolled 100 looking for ingredients for an eye wash and rubbed a rogue bone fragment into her cornea.
I didn't know you got a 96 and then 100.
He did.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I just have to read what I wrote. Anyway, Bello convinces Joe to come out from under the bed and leads her out of the room. And she then leads Cully out onto the patio to spare him the sight. Franny checks on Rutherford and then gets some supplies, tweezers, magnifying glass, flashlight, and Bello had asked for a magnet. She got that for him as well and re-enters the room. Continuing to search, she finds strange filaments resting sort of where the spine would have come up. 3 or 4 threads still attached, takes a filament sample. And there's a bit of an altercation between Franny and Bello. She snaps and in anger insults his chicken. I know. So out on the patio, Joe has settled Cully, and then she decides to open her book. She is having this feeling of the past and present coming together and feeling like there are connections that maybe she could find that would explain what's going on, and opens the book. She reads a story story. Somebody's, it's a journal. She reads that somebody says the idea is to give people something else to think about. Imagine a better world, move beyond, seek other realms. And in this moment, she moves into a daydream. As this is going on outside, Rutherford also examines the filaments, concludes it's not native to the body, takes a blood sample, has some pretty intense visions while examining the body that Bello finds fascinating. And we have yet to understand why Bello finds this fascinating. So maybe we'll find out this week. And we ended last week with some details of Joe's vision. She was sitting in a studio of an artist in her hometown painting a desiccated human skull. That's all.
All right. So I think what we'll do then is, since we left off that porch, kind of zoomed out the window there with Joe sitting next to Cully, we might need to hear from Cully and then go over and check in on Boone and then come back to the rest of y'all. How does that sound like for a plan?
And then don't forget, Rutherford was checking the body and rolled a 1.
Yes. Yeah, sorry, should have said that.
Oh.
So does
that mean he's performing an autopsy?
No, he was looking through. He decided to go look on his body, like with him being dead, and it never was done, like his pockets.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to plant the idea of autopsy in your head.
Oh, okay.
I would really love to see that.
I think Scott would really love it if we did that.
Yeah.
That's where we ended.
So really quick, Michael, did Cully, or maybe Joe would be, Emily, you'd answer this. How much does Cully know?
I would assume.
You said you rushed him out, so how much does Cully know that Richard is dead?
I mean, if you're okay with this, I would assume that while rushing you out, Joe would have explained something, at least that much, so that you would know what was happening, like why I was rushing you out, why you were hearing screams and the burst of a breaking watermelon. I forget how we described that sort of special pop.
There was definitely a watermelon hitting the floor.
Yeah, I just
like
watched
Gallagher
it, and
special?
it was
Yes, Gallagher.
Bello said overripe plums
Mm.
popping out for the eyes, and then yes, a watermelon dropped from a great height.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Cully knows what happened, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perhaps Cully shares some of Scott's feelings on such things, and Joe would know this and want to spare him.
Well, and you'd have known how close.
Well,
Cully
exactly.
was to Richard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else, Michael? Or can we go?
Yeah. Or do you want to play out Cully's experience here?
Yeah.
Or do you want to skip over?
So, and just to be clear, I'm outside now with Joe and Bello.
Yeah.
I don't think Bello came outside. Bello just got Joe out of the room because she was kind of stuck hiding under the bed.
Bello had come back in with the magnet thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
So whether he's gone back out again.
Yeah. Bello and Franny got in kind of a spat, and then Bello was dragging the magnet through the brain matter on the floor, and kind of not really respecting the scene as being potentially evidence. And so he's just kind of stepping on everything. He had some sort of like pork rinds or something he was eating last week to kind of corn nuts, maybe, to accentuate the sound effects.
Yeah. And then you had me over by Rutherford, and that was a sort of mental trigger of something. So we'll get back to that, but that's all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
So Joe, what happened to him? Why? What happened?
I have truly no idea. It was just so horrible, and I don't think you should look. But I'll tell you what I know, which is just that I am sure that Richard is dead.
So,
I'm so
for what it's
sorry.
worth, Cully is when it's catching up to him, he becomes inconsolable, and he falls on the ground And, you know, you can hear him sort of saying, you know, he was going to be my dad. So Cully is just knocked out by this. He, you know, for what it's worth, like Cully sort of saw Richard as his chance to have a family, and now with it being taken away from him, he's just completely unmoored. So
poor Cully.
Yeah. Joe will definitely stay with Cully, but until you're able to calm yourself, I'm not going to try to talk you out of your tears, because I think you just need to get those out.
Yeah. Yeah, so why don't we can go back, because I think for a while that's just going to be Cully's reality.
And as Cully's sobbing, I don't want to kind of lose track of this thread that, Joe, while you're next to him, as he's kind of inconsolable, you're there and next to him, but you do get drawn away and back into this vision that we ended on last week, right? Like, so you're kind of, you're not torn so much as you just get lost in the fabric of the daydream as you're consoling Cully. And so as you realize there's not much you can do for him, you venture into this daydream quite a bit.
Oh.
Okay. All right. And all right. With that, let's get back to Rutherford, and you rolled a 1.
Yep, I was Rutherford decided to look through any personal belongings that may be on him, like a wallet or his pockets, or maybe something stashed inside a shirt. I don't know if he was wearing a jacket or something like that, or who knows what. So anyway, that was the search, and rolled a very swingy compared to a 97 and 100. 1.
That's crazy.
Averages out to a 50.
Our keeper went, I'm going to have to think on this one.
All right. And so basically you're digging around in his pockets and you don't find anything at all. And you start patting around his jacket and you feel a sliver of something. And it's very odd, because it's a hard rectangle within his jacket, and you're trying to figure out how to access it. That obviously Richard had some way. Go ahead.
Like it's sewn into the fabric.
You're trying to figure it out. It feels like it's sewn into the fabric. And so tell me how you get to it. I guess there's some options here.
So Rutherford would feel around in it, and I get a sense like would be maybe adjusting the size of a bookmark or smaller.
Yeah, it's probably, let's see if I can articulate this a little bit better. The rectangle is about 4 inches long and we'll say 2.5, 3 inches wide.
Okay, so a card, like a big card. Okay, and it's in the jacket, is in the front, the side, the back, or
so where you find it right now, it's located kind of between the breast pocket and the there's no real pocket to put your hand in, but you know, if you imagined if there was a lower pocket on the jacket, kind of right below where the buttons to the right of it, so it's in this kind of torso spot of the jacket. Let's say that the front torso spot.
Okay, Rutherford would keep one hand on the item, and then the other hand you slip under into the jacket so you don't lose where it is, because it's very curious that it's there. So, you know, your brain is almost like, I don't want to take my hand away, because if I put it back and it wasn't there, that would be very odd. So even, you know, with what's going on and the head exploding and the visions that he had, you know, there's a sense of staying secured to the reality of the moment. That's how his brain would work. So his hand would stay fixed on the object, and he would reach under the jacket on the opposite side of the fabric to get his hand in between, with the fabric in between, to feel the other side.
Yeah, and so as it's kind of between your hands, and I'll spare Scott kind of what else you're feeling as you're running your fingers up and down the jacket at this point, because it's probably, let's be honest, a little bit wet. And you put it between both hands and you start to wiggle it down through the jacket.
Mhm.
And as you do, it gets caught for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to look at the stitching, and you're like, this is really bizarre. And you realize that the way it's stitched is almost like there's a shelf inside the jacket, meaning like the stitching goes up and then makes a horizontal line so
Mhm.
that this object could be situated. And so you slide it again over to the right,
Mhm.
and there's a tunnel, and it plops out the bottom of the jacket.
Oh,
And
so okay.
It's very, you're not sure what this object is at the moment, and you're looking at it, and it is indeed, it's about it's a few inches wide and about 4 inches long, and it has just enough thickness, probably we'll call it like a 1/4 inch thick. And it appears to it has a little slide at the top of it. But with your roll, I'm gonna tell you about this slide. This object's hinged on the side, and you're almost sure, Rutherford, that this is a camera, and that possibly the way it might possibly be made so that it can only take one exposure by opening the slide and then closing the slide again.
Gotcha. So and Rutherford would start putting the pieces together because he's fascinated by it. And there are, of course, during the war, many spies, and there were many early spy cameras like that. And so he gets, I guess he would get a sense of this. This is some sort of unit, and then he would look at it more carefully to see where some sort of a film would be put in, because it would be, if it would be some sort of film that you have to doctor to get in there or something like that. But I guess
sure. So it does have hinges on one edge, and then on the other end, like a small clasp, and the clasp is just, it's almost like a hasp, so that
okay.
If you think like the edge of like modern kind of terms, if you think of like those Tupperware containers, the big ones, and they have the hinges that slide over the lid, that flip over the lid. It's the same thing, but it's a metallic little hasp that flips over the back and kind of just pinches it together.
Okay. Rutherford has a fantastic mechanical repair ability, and his intelligence is good. So I was going to say, if there was anything there, like he's got a 70 in his mechanical repair.
Yeah. So then that's pretty apparent to you that that's what this is as a camera, and you realize that all you would have to do to access the film is to probably flip that hasp on the edge.
Okay.
Don't
and obviously
do it.
He doesn't want to flip it open because that would expose, any film inside. So from the past with his friend Richard, has Richard ever done anything with dark rooms and stuff? And would he have a dark room in this house?
So you know that Richard was well into architectural photography, right? He was always kind of photographing buildings when you were out and about, and that was a hobby of his that went kind of hand in hand with his architectural studies, right? That he would photograph and then also kind of sketch out his new designs. So indeed, Cully, you would know this because you sleep next to it. That down in the basement, he had a small dark room for developing film.
Okay, and Rutherford gets extremely excited and almost agitated at this point because he has a eureka moment, and he I don't think Cully's in the room because it's too gruesome for
Cully's
him.
out.
Yeah, no.
Right, he realizes.
And your eye is all swollen shut. Might I just remind you?
Okay. So
Cully's outside.
Cully may have to. So Rutherford, in spite of his eye, even he just kind of loses himself and gets so excited. He has, and the pieces. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, and suddenly you just have a few more pieces, and he realizes perhaps Richard had this camera on him in some way where it could even automatically take a picture. inside a jacket that perhaps even had a little hole in it, like a spy camera. And he suddenly has the sense that maybe it went off on the night he was abducted. And so he has this moment of he needs to get to these pictures inside, but also a eureka moment. The dark room, the fact that he had something hidden in a wall board, the baseboard that we found earlier, that he may have done something congruous to that in the wants. Who actually found that in the wall board? It was Cully, I believe, right?
It was Franny or Bello.
I don't think
The
it was
floorboard.
me.
I think it's
It
Franny.
was me.
It was Cully.
It was Cully.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
was Cully.
Look
So
at that.
Rutherford wants to find Cully as quickly as possible and get to that dark room because he has a sense there may be images that Richard has hidden away that are incredibly important and may shed light on some of the mystery going on around here, and even perhaps why he was abducted. Much like the paintings had secret aspects to them, he's starting to put all these pieces that Richard built his house with many secrets, some of them obviously in front of you, but hidden, and perhaps some of them further hidden.
So, Rutherford, what'd you find there? You seem a bit excited, flustered.
And I said, Bello, could you help me? My eyes, I can't see very good, and I'm a bit thrown by what has happened. Could you lead me to where our friend Cully is? I have an errand for him to help me with.
Oh, be my pleasure, sir. This looks like you got yourself a little bit of a fancy doodad there as I pick you up by your shoulder and start shuffling you out of the room.
And Rutherford would take it and he says, it is fascinating. And he puts it wherever would be the most secure thing that he's wearing. I don't think Rutherford would be wearing a jacket. He's more of a flannel shirt type guy. But he would put it in a pocket and keep his hand in the pocket, so he had his hand on it, it doesn't go away.
Rutherford, can you make a not a constitution roll, a POW roll for me?
Absolutely.
Sure.
That is a success, straight success.
Okay, so as Bello reaches for the camera, right? Is that what you said? You held it out for him?
I just held it up for a second, to show him. Well, he was seeing it because I was holding it. Obviously, when I pulled it out off of Richard, I hadn't stowed it away, and I wasn't hiding it or anything.
Right. Yeah. So as you're holding it up, Bello reaches out. Bello doesn't. Bello, just so you know, you're not actually reaching out. But Rutherford, in your eyes, Bello reaches out and he appears to grab the camera. No, but all of a sudden he has a large, and by large, like a 32-ounce kind of glass that's flared at the top, and it's filled with ice cream and root beer and a big straw coming out of it. And he brings it over to his face, and you wouldn't know this, but he looks kind of like a kind southerly woman that Joe might have seen, but you wouldn't recognize her because I don't think you saw her that night. No, that's not what she looks like at all. Thank you. Might be what Bello looks like. And he brings the sundae to his mouth, and his hair's kind of moving out in these curls, and he starts drinking the sundae, and then it all disappears, and Bello's standing there, and you're still holding the camera.
And Rutherford would say, as he sees that, Bello, this is no time for a snack. And then as it disappears, he goes, excuse me. And he goes, I'm not sure what I just saw.
Rutherford, are you? Let me just clarify, because I've been called many things in my time, but I've never been called a snack before, my lord. Mostly that refers to my food and products, and I'm tapped out. I don't know whether Labarca is. I'm sure it's just fine. But I'm plumb out of eggs and chicken goods. So what you talking about there, sir?
And he said, I was curious, were you just partaking of a beverage? And Rutherford seems confused and looks off for a second and then back towards Bello, and shakes his head because his eye is a mess. So he kind of has to cock his head and looks over and he says, I maybe my hurt eye is playing tricks on me, but you were drinking some sort of a dessert beverage just now.
I don't think so, sir. We are while this may look like a fruit salad, it is far from it. It is quite the opposite of anything appetizing. No, I am quite parched. I could go for myself a good egg cream, to be honest with you, but otherwise, no, sir.
Rutherford, I apologize, Mr. Bello. It's the shock of the last half hour of what's happened to Richard and then my eye. I must be in a bit of shock or something. Perhaps I should settle down and have something cool to drink.
Yes, I think that sounds quite appropriate. I think we should get you down to one of the lounge chairs and maybe talk yourself to that young Cully and maybe answer any of your questions. You seem a little flustered.
Make yourself a Valium martini like you made old Richard.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. Actually, Rutherford would never do that. He doesn't like to have an altered mind at any point. It doesn't make sense to him to do that. And this would be a very odd thing to see things that are incongruous with reality. It doesn't make sense to him.
Then probably you need to make a sand roll on that.
Yeah, I'll give you that for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you want to bring up your character's vulnerabilities, I'll be happy to exploit them. Because I lost some points last week, I missed it with my very high roll. Oh, so did you? I didn't get it. When you say very high roll, not that high, 87. Oh, okay. All right, just checking there. All right, we'll put you down 2 more points then. They're dropping.
Yeah, they do that.
Sometimes as a keeper, I like to imagine myself with like a stick and a knife, and I'm just kind of whittling away.
He's got a ridiculously good.
At the end, there's going to be a real nice sculpture.
It's not as ridiculously as good as it used to be.
Franny's never was good.
So Keeper, you did mention there was something physically triggering for Bello. I just wanted to see if you wanted to expound on that while I was escorting our compatriot here down over the lounge.
There was something physically triggering for Bello.
You want a reminder?
Yes, please. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. It was when Rutherford, while examining Richard's body, had a vision where he sensed himself as sort of a body underground that was already decomposing.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yes.
And something that he did visually triggered Bello, but I don't know.
I think didn't Rutherford explain it a little bit?
Oh, maybe he explained it. I didn't write that part down.
Yeah, Rutherford just had that thing where he clicked into it, and I had a sense of this being a buried thing, and then our keeper did explain that Rutherford had a very distinctive, quirky look about him as that happened.
Not Rutherford.
Oh, Bello. Okay, yes. No, I do remember what this is, and this is probably not for general knowledge. So let me see how we can get it. Old Bello here.
Do you want?
That's fine.
Do you want us to take headphones off? Do you want to have a conversation just with Bello and we can headphones off?
No, we don't need to go that far. I'll do the wink, nudge at Bello. There might have been a certain event in your past that happened, and that might have contributed heavily to your current entrepreneurial success.
See, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'm following what you're putting down there.
Yeah, and as Rutherford is describing this experience, it resonates very closely with what happened to you on that night.
Oh yes, okay. Well, that's fair. That's a fair thing. We can just move right on from that. As Rutherford, you would see me having a bit of a tick as my eyebrows just start to do a little bit of a wave as I make my way down the stairs.
And Mr. Bello, with my one eye looking at you, I said,
Yeah, Mad Eye Moody over
I'm
here.
picturing the two of you coming down the stairs, one all swollen, stuttering, and the other one actually like proper waving eyebrows.
I can't wait to see the two of you try and console Cully.
And the footprints of blood that they're just leaving behind
Yeah.
as they come through the hall. Yep.
All right, keeper. We're
Okay. And then let's see. I tell you what, Boone, we're gonna start on your little trek. Possibly
whenever.
Yeah, I'm thinking like right. What, Franny, do you have anything that you want to do?
No, I'm still investigating those filaments, and my big concern is getting enough sample material in as proper a container as possible that's as airtight as possible. So Franny is very much like in lab mode, like really trying to control variables and get good samples to be able to take back to the lab and properly study. So she's going to be pretty hyper focused on that.
Okay, so with that, then the one thing that you notice, you got that sample to a glass jar, and as you did, you got it in there, and I don't know, probably enough time has started to pass. You took a pretty clean sample. If you remember, you notice that the sample in your jar is shriveling and seeming to get tinier and tinier.
And how does that compare to the samples that are still in the head?
Yeah, so if you go back, those seem to still be about the same size that they were.
Okay, so she is then going to actually try to cube out part of the flesh so that those filaments can stay housed in the material that they're in now.
There's a term for that, isn't there, Rick? When you
I think it's melon baller. I think that's
explain.
I think that's the medical term.
Explain this again.
When you take a chunk of the brain as a sample?
I mean, there's a brain biopsy. A lobotomy would be you're kind of going in there, you're taking a bit, you spin it around. I mean, some combination.
No, see,
if you take a section.
What I'm trying to do is like a core sample, because my hypothesis is that this filament is being somehow preserved by the organic material that's around it. So I want to keep it contained in that organic material while I get it to the lab.
How about this? An end block resection.
All right,
there we
excellent.
go. I like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Because biopsy makes it sound like Richard's still alive.
I think he made that up.
No, it's this real thing. You're taking it as a block of tissue to preserve the anatomy and the structure there, which is exactly what you're describing. I could go on. I could wax poetic in some sort of loquacious monologue here, but I think we should move on.
Okay. All right. Let's have a little break here. We'll come back and we'll check in with Joe and Cully and then move into where Boone's headed.
Perfect. Everybody take 5 and we will see you in a few. All right, we're back from break. Michael, go ahead.
All right, and we'll cut over to Joe and Cully.
Cully's still crying.
Yeah, so I'm coming back, so it's obvious it's probably been a little while. Okay. So I'm gonna set up and I'm gonna say I'm sorry, Joe. I couldn't help it. I'm gonna try my hardest not to do that again.
No, it's natural. I mean, don't apologize for.
Boys don't cry.
Oh, Cully. Everybody cries.
Not in the Straits, they don't.
Well, you're not in the Straits right now.
Well, I'm gonna go back now. He was gonna be he told me he was gonna help me get to college. He was gonna help me build a life. He was gonna help me to learn how to go to college and do all these things that I people from the Straits don't do any of that stuff. I don't know. I'm used to run with a gang. I don't know if you know that, but I used to run with a gang. They're still out there not doing very good stuff. And I got away from them because of Richard. I got away from him because he helped me to see that Joe and my friends, these guys that I was with, that I shouldn't be with them anymore. What happens now? Do I go back?
You don't
Do I
go
do
back.
I go do I
You
start
can't go
drinking
back
like
to
my
that.
family? What do I do?
If those are your only options, you make a new path. You could
I don't
stay
know, I
here.
tried
You
making a
could
new
go. I
path,
mean,
and
look
he
at
said his head
me.
blew up.
I am not advising that you take my path because, it's been pretty rough, but I've been without anyone for a long time. And at least now I feel like I have a life. It's possible. Maybe you can stay here.
Out there, I can't stay in this house. I had a pallet in the basement I slept on. I
mean, no one's
don't know
using
what
it
I'm gonna
now.
do. I don't want to. I feel like bad shy even thinking about myself. It's Richard's barely gone, and I don't even know what to do. I'm gonna miss him.
You're gonna miss him. You are.
I'm gonna miss him, Joe. At least I got you.
I want to
And
share
Cully,
something with
I'm putting
you.
my arm around you, and I'm just sort of slumping my head down, and I'm just like, all right, at least I've got you.
Yeah, and I'll put my arm around you and kind of support you. And with my other arm, I'm gonna grab my book because, Cully, I want you to look at this passage that I was reading earlier. Because remember, Joe was before this conversation, she kept being pulled back into the vision and just couldn't get the mental process that took her into that place. She couldn't get that out of her head. I can't use my words. But I was just reading this passage that was it was strange and it was eerie, but in a way it also just included so much hope. And the writer, and I don't know if it was Hans or if it was someone else, but they were just talking about imagining a better world and moving beyond. And that could be your current circumstances, or I don't know what exactly it means, but take a look at this and maybe it will help.
Okay, I'll take a look at the book.
The same, I pointed out the same passage that I was reading earlier that put me into the vision state.
All right. And then I won't reread it for you. Are you holding the book, Cully?
Yeah, I'll take it and put it on my lap.
Okay. Make a POW roll as you're holding the book.
I got a 22.
Okay. I'm assuming that's probably good enough, right?
I'm good.
Okay. And so you're reading it, and you're quite moved by it in this idea. I mean, really, the idea that Joe, what resonates with Joe, and kind of the similarities in your backgrounds and your experience, this word resonates with you as well. It doesn't come with kind of any visions or anything, but definitely it don't want to go so far to say that it consoles you, brings you a little bit of kind of calm and peace in the moment.
Yeah, that's great. And after I read it, I'll say, Joe, thank you. This is like what Richard would tell me. It's up to me to find my own path, and it just because I come from something doesn't mean that's where I'm destined to go.
Well, in that case, Richard gives very good advice.
Yeah,
because
and that advice isn't gone, right? Just because he's gone.
It is not. If nothing else, come and work with me at Belinda's store. There's always more than I can get done. And then you'd have money, and she's really a pain, but
she sounds like a monster.
She's no street gang, though. At least she pays me and she gives me a place to sleep. And all I'm saying is you have options.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And that's I'm feeling better. I don't want to I'm not going to go in and see Richard. Promise me I don't have to do that.
No.
But maybe we can go in and we can find everyone and at least find out if they know why this happened. And if the army did this to him, I'm going to get even.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do whatever I can to help you.
If they did this to him, it's before I have to say goodbye to him, I'm going to make sure he has justice.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
And
And so,
so-
we're probably stand up and start walking inside.
Oh, you're gonna go see Richard?
No.
No,
but
just in the house.
he was in the he's in the bedroom. There's a whole other house, right?
Okay. And so here's the problem. Give me a sand roll.
Who?
That would be for Cully. You'll see why in just a second.
I got it.
Oh, you made it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. And then you just kind of instinctively, Joe, take a left away from the bedroom and Cully follows you. You miss the bloody footprints that are in the other part of the house that Bello and Rutherford have tracked through the house. You also miss the comings of goings of Franny with the bits of brain in the jar as well. So we'll say that your timing just happens to be right that you miss all of these potential interactions of what's happened.
Wasn't the kitchen already bloody from the Bello Poulet incident?
Yes.
Right, but that's not going to trigger trigger Cully, right? Like Bello's operation's not going to upset Cully because Cully's seen blood, Cully's seen violence. It's only going to be things that and he's smart, right? So like footprints from the bedroom would
It's
trigger
different than
Cully.
a pile on the table. Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm just thinking the house is looking really bad right now.
Yeah. No kidding.
Honestly, if he's that, if his emotional status is so elevated, right? I guess my thought would be maybe he's easily triggerable, from like an emotional vulnerability perspective.
Oh, that's a good point. But I think Cully also. I mean, I don't want to underestimate the built-in mechanism. So if he passes that role, then we're gonna say that for now he's good.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's a good point. But I think Cully comes from, we talked before, he comes from a trauma background. So it's not that he's not used to having awful things happen. It's that he thought he was getting away from those. So, he's got tools to fall back on.
Yeah. Which will be interesting to see how that affects his character moving forward.
Yeah.
But okay, let's go across. Well, we're gonna time shift a little bit here. See, I didn't use the word. We're gonna time shift a little bit. We're gonna head over to Boone. Boone, I kind of have this Kaiser Soze vision of you like walking away from the Bello mobile, exploding in the background in a ball of flames, and you're walking down the street. And
Yeah, I don't remember if has anyone even noticed that the Bello mobile is missing yet?
no, nobody at the house would have.
We've
There's no
been
reason
Yeah.
for them to notice.
Distracted.
They
Yeah.
probably honestly wouldn't even notice that you were gone.
You had a conversation. I thought we had a conversation about it because you said I'm not letting you go. Maybe I was too out of it. I don't really recall if that was just on game or off game, but maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely, Bello. You would not have any recollect. Yeah. Maybe that'll be nice. You'll walk outside of the house in a few minutes, and that'll be missing.
So yeah, then I had to hitchhike down to Santa Fe.
Who did you
Uh,
hitchhike with? Who'd you catch a ride with?
Well, I'm dressed really nice now.
Yeah,
So-
no. I'm not worried about that. I'm just curious. Who'd you catch a ride with?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was let's say it was a salesman
Okay.
who's heading down to the Santa Fe hospital to sell some medical equipment.
And does he have a name, or is that my job?
We can call him Fred.
Fred Durskin.
Yep, that's him.
Wow.
All right.
What kind of medical equipment? What brand of medical equipment?
Oh, you know the brand.
All right.
Why you should know, we are the most popular and most reputable
Bosco?
medical brand equipment Bosco Medical Equipment. That's right. I'm Fred Durskin, and the Bosco Medical name is the premier name in medical equipment. You, sir, you should know you look like a fine, upstanding individual right here in the passenger seat of my car, and you should know that if you check into a hospital, you should check to see if they're using Bosco brand equipment, because if they're not, I guarantee you don't want to be there.
Well, it sounds like a fine. You'll have to excuse me. I got punched in the throat recently. That's why my voice sounds a little like a hobo's. Fucking carton a day, whiskey drinking hobo. I don't know why I came up with that metaphor. Just randomly.
You had us all for a moment.
My...
I think we were all sitting here like, did he get punched in the throat? And we forgot it. That was good. That was solid. Oh, well, there's a fine hospital in Santa Fe, one which I sell the Bosco brand name medical equipment to. And they have some fine doctors there who I bet they could fix your throat right up. They'll have you singing in the rain.
Oh, yeah. I'll do that because I have lots of money in order to have those services done to me.
Well, let me just tell you, sir, while we're on the ride here to Santa Fe, I could interest you in some, let's say, hospital grade personal medical equipment that would, with a man of your means, could find a way to ease some of the pains in his life. Tell me, what bothers you so much? Aches in the back, maybe little misalignment of the jaw. You ever get eye strain? I don't know. Maybe even the old hemorrhoids. I mean, they get the best of us.
Oh, sweet Jesus. All of the above?
Oh.
Holy! Oh, sorry. Ooh, I think I just hallucinated a little bit. That ever happened yet?
Hallucinations? Oh no, I'm straight as an arrow. We are headed down the highway. Don't worry, you're safe in this ride. Don't you worry. And so, you have a pretty, it's most of this ride is you kind of staving off Fred's approaches at
trying to sell me black market goods.
Correct.
Or drugs or whatever.
Which I assume you don't want, right?
No.
You're not. Are you?
I don't have that kind of money. No.
Okay. All right. So, upon arriving in Santa Fe, that's where you're hitching to, correct?
Yep. Then I've got to hop the Santa Fe train between Santa Fe and Albuquerque. And then between those two stops, it's just vast emptiness and farms. There's like no actual communities, but you've got the two big cities pretty close together.
Yeah.
So I know where to hop off where my my mother's farm is.
Okay. So we'll say it was a couple-hour ride down to Santa Fe, and you arrive in Santa Fe, and he says, I realize now, friend, I never caught your name. What's your name?
My name is Boone.
Oh, and Mr. Boone, what kind of trade are you in? I'll be sure and look you up the next time I'm this way.
Oh, I work for the government. Yep. There's that's right. There's a lab. Yeah, there's a lab in Los Alamos, and I am a director of science there.
Ooh, do you ever need medical equipment? Boy, I could really use a government contract. Those government contracts, they sure pay well.
Oh, well, yeah, just stop in sometime and tell him Boone sent you.
I sure will. Oh, Mr. Boone, I really, really appreciate it. That's wonderful. And I hope your car gets fixed real soon, okay? And you get back to Los Alamos. If you ever need a ride, you just head over to the Santa Fe Hospital and you ask for me, Fred Durskin. That's right. Fred Durskin's the name, and I'm the man who can hook you up.
Well, thank you, Mr. Durskin. You've been a great traveling companion.
Okay. And he drops you off kind of, pretty much in downtown Santa Fe, right in the middle. It's not too late at night still. I mean, it was a couple-hour drive, but there's a lot going on back at the house that you missed out on. So we'll call it somewhere around 9:00 in the evening.
Okay. And I'm hopping a freight train, obviously not a passenger train.
Yeah. Make a luck roll. Let's see if you make one tonight. If you get the old freight.
8.
God damn. Yeah, you know your way, right? And you make your way. It's another couple miles, but for you that's nothing. And when you get there, I mean, it's like you could set your watch by it. You're right on time for the train, and you hop it. And how far is it from there to where you're headed on the via train?
Probably just maybe 20 miles, if
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah, so that's probably, I mean, that's nothing on the train.
Yeah, Santa
So-
Fe and Albuquerque are, pretty close together.
Yeah. You want to call that via train those times? You want to call that like 40 minutes, an hour? Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So, we'll say it's somewhere around 10 o'clock at night when you hop off. And then how far of a walk is it?
The farm actually abuts the tracks. So there's
All right.
probably like 40 acres. And
Okay.
the house, there's a road that crosses the track. So
Okay.
you follow the road. That would be
Okay.
to the west. And then, eventually you'll get to the part where the house is.
Perfect. Okay. So that shouldn't take you more than
Yeah, maybe, oh God, maybe
maybe 20
mi-
minutes.
Yeah, tops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so you get there and all the lights are off. The house is dark. And
Yeah, the time of.
yeah, 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, the house is dark.
Okay, I know which is my brother's window.
Okay.
So I go around to the side and I tap on the window, look in, tap on the window.
Hello? Hello?
Hey.
Who's out? Who's there?
Duke, it's me.
Really? Boone?
Yeah, come to the window.
Am I dreaming?
No, I'd hope you'd have sweeter dreams than my ugly mug.
Well, that's definitely you, Boone. Hot damn.
Yeah, little brother.
Aren't they
That's
both
it.
Boone?
Yeah.
What's that?
Aren't they both Boone?
It's I don't remember my fucking first name. I've looked up my character sheet.
Oh, remember it was
character's name
something
is
that
Boone.
nobody.
I think
It
it's
was
John,
something
right?
nobody-
Isn't it
John.
John?
I was
Yes,
gonna say
I
it
have
is
my
John
humble-
because
It's John.
Redcon all those previous Boones with John.
Yeah, John.
We'll move to
Yeah,
John.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Like little Johnny, maybe it's his brother, right?
Yeah. Oh, and my younger brother, Dookie. Hey,
No, Jesus. That just- oh no. No.
Welcome to fourth grade.
Oh God.
Little brother.
His name is Duke. As an older brother, I would have called him Dookie.
He's a little shit anyway.
hey, Dookie.
Welcome to the Call of Cthulhu sandbox with the worst NPC names ever. All right.
Hey, I know I wasn't supposed to show up for another couple weeks for the pie festival, but I got a bit of an emergency.
Johnny, Ma hears you. She's gonna kick your ass.
I know. Can you sneak out? I can help you out through the window. You got your
Sneak out?
yeah.
How exactly you want me to sneak out that ain't gonna wake her up?
Well, I just lift you up under your arms, pull you out, put you in the wagon. I can wheel you around just like old times.
Where the hell we going, Johnny?
Well, you know the old jalopy in the barn? Dad's old jalopy, the old Doodle Bug.
Make a persuade roll, Boone. Curious kind of how he's gonna receive.
25.
Is that a
Oh,
success for you?
You're right. I better look rather than just assuming. Persuade.
He's gonna. I would imagine they all have mixed emotions about seeing you. So
My persuade is 20, but I'm going to burn 5 luck
okay,
to
that's
make that a
reasonable.
regular success.
Johnny, you don't just need me to fix up the car for you, do you?
No, you know I'm going to be back in, right now, but you know I'm going to be back in 2 weeks. And we're going to have some good time to catch up. I'm going to bring you something to drink. I know Ma don't really let you drink. I'll bring something to drink. I got some.
I could definitely use a nip or two. Oh, man,
And
you don't know what it's like living with Ma. You really
and also,
don't.
yeah,
I'm too old to be living with Ma.
I know, and I also know she gives you a piddling allowance. And usually when I come to Pie Town, I hook you up with some cash from stuff I sold on the road. But tell you what, I'll hook you up with some cash right now. And I take off my shoe and I pull out these damp dollar bills and I peel off 10 of them, 10 smelly Washingtons,
Nice.
and hand them to him. There you go, buddy.
Oh,
Now don't let Ma know that you got it. You just
all right. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. And he pulls back his pajama pants and he just kind of tucks them right into his underwear.
Oh, God.
good job. Now let me help you out here. And I kind of hoist him up and help him out. Do I have to roll something?
Yeah, probably.
I can't imagine this is the first time you guys have done this, though. Right?
No, I used to have to do this all the time.
Yeah, then if you.
Well, yeah, I come visit every year. So yeah, every year I have to.
I signed on late. Were you telling us backstory of this that isn't getting into the recording now?
Yeah, but we're purposely.
Oh,
He just gave me some. He just gave me some information that's probably just supposed to be for me. So
Sure.
Yeah, everything you're hearing's
37. So that's no
but
problem.
yeah, I wouldn't even make you. I was gonna say you don't even have to roll for it if it's something that you've done normally.
And I knew what was up, so I already brought the wagon over. It's a wagon that they can use to like bring firewood to the house and whatnot. So I put them in the wagon and bring them out to the barn. Light up a lantern.
Johnny, tell me where you've been, Johnny. Tell me where you've been.
Oh, where haven't I been? I was up to let's see, I was as far north as oh God. Let me try to think of a province in Canada, not New Brunswick. That's Alberta. I was up in Alberta, and I've been as far
Johnny.
south as
What'd you see in Alberta?
I saw a moose. I saw a dang moose in real life.
You saw a whole moose?
I saw not just a head. Yeah, I saw a whole dang moose. What I seen is there was a cliff and water down below. I just watched this video on YouTube. It's real. And this moose kept edging over the round part of the cliff. And I'm thinking like, oh God, life must be so bad for him. He's just going to put an end to it. How bad can life be for a moose? And then all of a sudden he just took a head dive in. I thought he was done for, but he come up and they can swim good. He swam across that little lake to the other side. Hell of a way to go from point A to point B, but God bless him. He did it.
Well, Johnny, will you take me swimming?
Well,
I want to go swimming. It's been so long. Ma won't let me do nothing.
I know we used to have the pond, but she let it get all murky. It's not safe to go in there anymore. But yeah, one of these days, I'm going to come back for you. And you and me are going to go traveling.
Okay. And he's just the whole time you're wheeling out to the barn. He's just totally enraptured by by your story about the moose and everything else.
But the reason I need the jalopy going again is I met this fella and you wouldn't believe him. He walks around dressed like a chicken.
And we're in the barn and there's chickens in the barn. Just okay. And so there's this old shitty car. And
Johnny,
actually
you met the chicken man?
Chickens. Not the legendary chicken man that like comes in your house at night and pecks your eyeballs out. I'm talking, this is just a fella who dresses like a chicken because he sells chicken. Does that make sense? It's a good way for him.
Chicken dressed as a chicken?
I know. So he's selling
Johnny,
his
that don't make
kinfolk.
no sense at
I
all.
know he's selling his kinfolk for other people to eat. It sounds like he's I don't know. So, yeah, but anyway,
Why would
so,
a chicken eat a chicken, Johnny? Tell me that.
I never seen a chicken eat a chicken. So yeah, the chickens in the barn are have gotten into the it's an old Ford Model T where the back has been cut off, and that's what a doodle bug is on the farm. You cut off the back of a Model T and you turn it into a flatbed truck to haul stuff around.
Yeah.
So in the cab part, it's just a 2-seater now. The chickens are using that as a coop, so it's all covered in chicken shit and feathers. And I said, so I met this chicken fella, and he had a car that looked just like a chicken. It had a head, it had wings, but something bad happened. And well, I don't want to go into
that. Don't make no sense either. Why would you have a car made like a chicken?
It's some sort of, I think the word he used was theme. It's a chicken theme. I think that's something from books. You and
Johnny,
I,
you got the best adventures. I wish I could go with you. Can
But
I go with
talk
you
about-
this time?
not this time, but I tell you what, when I come back in 2 weeks to go to the pie festival, you and I'll go on an adventure. But one last bit of adventure, I had to blow his chicken mobile to Kingdom Come.
You blew up the chicken car?
I blew it up. Woo! Oh,
Did
and
he
it
get
blew
mad
up.
at you, Johnny?
He does. I don't think he even knows yet, but it was for his own good. I swear it was for his own good. I wouldn't do anything malicious like that because he had gotten into some trouble, and well, the cops I think would be after him, and it would be easy to find a fella that drove away in a chicken mobile. So I blowed it up for his own protection.
He's on the run, huh?
Yeah. So long story short, I'm going to get the Doodle Bug going, and I'm going to give that to him as a replacement for the chicken mobile.
Johnny, the Doodle Bug hadn't run in years.
Yeah, but you're the best at fixing mechanical stuff in the whole, I think, Santa Fe, Albuquerque, greater area.
Yeah,
So I think if anyone can do it, you can. We just need to get that old gas out of there. We need to lube up the pistons so they don't seize up.
Johnny, you don't have to tell me what to do. I know how to fix this car.
Okay.
You don't tell me what
I'm
to
sorry.
do.
Yeah, I'm stepping on your area. I shouldn't be a know-it-all like that.
Mama still farms me out to all the neighbors. I mean, they all bring their cars by here.
Oh.
I just don't understand why she won't drive no more. It doesn't make any sense. We got this car. It could run. You want me to make it run tonight, though, Johnny?
I need it really bad. If there's any way in heaven you can do it,
all right. Well,
I'll be your helper. You just tell me what to do.
well, you got to be my legs, Johnny. All right. I need
Okay.
you. And he gives you a whole list of stuff to get: lights and oil cans and
Yeah,
gas and wrenches and
got
everything
that little
else.
scooter that goes under, the little crawler that goes
Yeah.
under the.
Make
car.
a stealth roll. You just got to
Yeah,
not
that's what I was-
fail this one.
That's what I was afraid of. Oh, I don't want to talk to Ma. Ooh. Oh, let me see. Please, God.
Oh, no.
I think I jinxed him with that whole. You just got to not fail it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I made it. I gave myself a good hobo stealth.
Oh, okay. All right. So you make sure to close the barn door then, and as Duke's talking to you, you're going around and hanging some blankets over any kind of windows and making sure that you're gonna have to use some lanterns, but making sure that no light kind of leaks out of the barn, and you're pretty quiet about moving stuff around and getting access to wrenches and tools and stuff. You have kind of some moments as you reach for wrenches, and almost some guilt that rises up as you kind of see Duke over there. And what's that?
I'm crippled by guilt.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's just-
it's really, that's the part. I I think here's probably Boone's big sand roll, right?
I try not to think about my sister. And in fact, that's why I spent most of my life in a bottle. That was the only way.
Yeah, but not just your sister. I mean, the fact that your brother here, right? You're kind of you might be back to pick him up for the pie festival, but it's possibility you won't. And you know that you're here in the middle of the night, just trying to like get him to help you fix up this car. So there's a lot kind of riding on this, an emotional background.
That's true.
So how'd you do on that roll?
Missed it by 4 points.
All right. And so with it, you're going to take 3 points of damage as you just kind of have these rising feelings being in the place. There's nothing specific, nothing vivid here triggering you, but just the overall feeling of what you're doing and the history here.
Also, I've only stopped drinking since last year, the last Pie Fest. Last Pie Fest, I was still rip-roaring drunk when I came into town. So this is the first time I've ever been here sober.
Okay. And so with that, I think, three's tolerable in terms of you being able to kind of stave that off. If you feel like it'd be a challenge for you, you can make a power roll on top of it. But I think you're probably good with it. At least initially right now, hitting you might change in a little bit, but you roll, give me a D6.
4.
Okay. So y'all work on this well into the morning. It's probably, anybody's guess, but somewhere around 2-3 o'clock in the morning. And he says, all right, Johnny, I think it's ready. I think you got to give it in and see if it'll turn over for you.
Okay, this is a full hand crank.
Yeah.
One. So, yep, have to. And boom, boom, backfire, and there's no way Ma's not gonna do that. Boom, boom.
So it does. It starts with, it sounds like an army's attacking the farm. So I give
Duke a big hug and I say, I'm sorry, Duke. I can't help you back into the house. I'll be coming back. I'll be coming back in 2 weeks.
Johnny, wait, Johnny.
I'm sorry, Duke. And I sling open the garage door, hop in, and I take off.
Okay.
I love you, brother.
All right. As you do, right, you see Ma coming out the front door of the house wrapped in a robe. You look in the rear view and you see a silhouette of Duke kind of moving out of the front of the garage in his chair. Or was he in the wagon?
Yeah, he could push himself along.
Yeah, so that wagon, right? He's pushed himself out, and it's I think with this time of year, it'd be too early still. And you got to make one more sand roll. I think this one's going to be tough.
Oh, 94.
You just dodged it there, didn't you? Yeah, another 3 points there, and that's 6 within a day. And you start opening up the glove box and looking under the seat, see if there's a bottle anywhere that somebody's hid by any chance, and there's not. But damn, if there was, you'd just want a little something to. The guilt here is just intense, but because there's nothing around to drink, you don't.
Yeah, I'm fighting back the tears, trying to drive through the tears and chicken feathers.
I was about to say, and the chicken shit on the windshield, right? And there's dust everywhere. And
I have to fold the windshield down because you can't see through that.
And the faster you go, actually, the more shit kind of whips up in the car, into your nose, into your face, and it's kind of sneezy and dusty, and you're crying.
Is there like one chicken left inside for a friend?
There is. I had planned that. Oh, you gave it away, man.
A Bello buddy?
Yeah. I have a what's the word?
A stowaway.
Stowaway. I have a stowaway where it's going to turn out that there was
Well, you can save it. You can hang on to
Okay.
that stowaway. Yeah,
Okay.
hang on to that. All right. We have a few minutes left. And at some point y'all have to sleep, including you, Boone. That's rules. So at some point we got to tuck y'all in for the night. Or I guess we could tuck you in the early morning, but you got to pay for staying up so late. So what do y'all want to do?
Well, Rutherford was on his mission to get Cully and bring him to the dark room because he had his epiphany about.
And really quickly, what time is it for us? So I know for Boone it got to 2 a.m.
So yeah, we're kind of cutting back to y'all, and I think it's probably a little after 9 o'clock at night for y'all.
Okay, so we're not sleepless yet.
So yeah,
so if you're coming to look for us, Joe and I are heading in the house at the same time.
Mhm.
Okay, and yeah, Bello was helping Rutherford find Cully.
Okay. Rutherford's a little absent-minded about the emotional consequences for you. Does that make sense, Rutherford? Right? That you're
Absolutely.
you're just focused on this camera. And Cully, so I'll let y'all play this out. But Rutherford, you run into Cully and Joe.
Oh, Rutherford, here's Cully. He right now. He's running in here with Joe. What's up, you two?
And
if you would notice this or not, but Bello, if you're paying any level of attention, like you'll see that my face is swollen. I've been crying. Like I'm still just sort of cleaning my face up. And I'm just trying to like put on a face. But I'm just still having trouble doing it. But I can't. It's Rutherford. What? I know he's gone.
So Cully, this is of the utmost importance. I found this is something maybe give us a hint as to what happened to our friend Richard and we have to go to his dark room. It's imperative. And
Dark room. I don't. Is it going to tell? What did you find? I need to know if the army did this to him, Rutherford. I think the army did this to him.
And I said, Cully. And so I guess this is where it'd be sort of persuading or whatever. Cully, there could be a photograph of the people who did this and are responsible for having to take in our friend Richard. He had a secret camera, and I think he took other pictures.
He was so smart.
And much like you found that other hidden box in the wallboard, I believe he's hidden some photographs in his dark room. Cully,
I know what the dark room is. Rutherford, before I'm only going to help you on one condition. This is too much, and I need to know something. Are we going to get the people that did this and make them pay? Because that's the only thing I care about. And if this is just because you want to see some film or you're interested or it's just something for you to think about with your big brain, I'm sorry, but you got to do it without me. Because if I'm not doing things to find out who did this to Richard, there's nothing else I want right now.
This is actually perfect because Rutherford's whole motivation will be laid bare. So, Cully, the whole point of this is the people who have done this to Richard are the people who are doing terrible things to our whole country and playing with incredibly dangerous things in the science labs. You know that place is a terrible place, and people are playing with incredibly dangerous ideas and developing things that could kill many people. All those people need to be punished, and it needs to be dismantled. If Richard was just one victim, there's many victims to be found, and I need you to help me find these people and who's responsible, who pushed Richard into that car that night. Surely need to be punished with all the others involved.
And I'm going to turn to Joe, and I'm going to say, Joe, that makes sense to me, but you got to help me. Does that make sense to you?
We can keep searching as long as it makes sense. And at any time, if it doesn't, we'll keep doing what we need to do. So yeah, this makes sense for now.
I don't care about the world. I don't care about the world. Fuck the world. I don't care about the world. I care about what happened to Richard.
I'm with you, and we'll figure this out. And maybe the camera, I mean, you said he's such a smart guy. Maybe this camera will have a clue. And if it does, we'll follow it. And if it doesn't, we'll figure out what happens next.
Okay. And you're
You're not committing forever. You're just going to take this step.
All right, Joe, and you're going to stay with us the whole time?
And I'm going to stay with you.
Okay.
Now, kids, I have to tell you, revenge is never a good motive to get you up in the morning. It'll only put you to bed. So if I were you, I would just reflect on the fact that there are some negative forces out there with blackness in their heart, and what befalls them will help everyone else, and it's a much better focus for you than all this hate.
And then that's why
I'm literally just going to stare at you, not say a word, then look at Rutherford and say, "Let's go look at that camera."
And Rutherford agrees with Cully. I said, Cully, do not fall prey to being a observer on the sideline ever. We have to get involved and be in the middle of this. We're the only ones who can help. Richard meant much to you, and I've known him for most of my life. We have to find the people who pushed him into that car. Those are the people we have to find first.
Okay.
All
so
right.
as long as Joe's going, I'll go with Joe.
Okay. And so I think this is where we'll conclude for the night, with y'all headed downstairs to check out the camera. Bello, a little bit of shock from the retort from Cully. Boone on a late night highway with chicken feathers flying up in his face. And Franny still trying to she has some of the perfect samples. Probably, Franny, do you want to have like one final word in what you're doing?
So I seem to remember that in that conversation that Rutherford and Cully just had, that Rutherford said something about, well, this could be a clue, right? Didn't you just say that?
Yeah.
So I'll come walking out right about then and say, well, I've got a clue right here, holding up a glass jar with with Richard's brain in it.
That's a perfect visual. Yeah, that's a great way to end right there with that. Nice.
And that's how we'll wrap it up for tonight.
So awful.
Thanks for joining us. Until next time, you can find us online at underthelibrary.com, Twitter under the LIB. And once again, if you would like to support the show, you can hit us up on patreon.com/underthelibrary. So until next time, for me and Michael, for Emily, Scott, Chris, Wayne, and Rick, thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.